Hello, everyone. Welcome to Missing in Minutes, and we're going to be talking about, it's going to be an open discussion. Could be about the timeline, if you'd like. Hi, Kyra. How are you, lovely? I don't know how you do it, but you're always like the first one here lately. That's beautiful. So, yeah, we're going to be talking a little bit about Summer Wells. There's some interesting notes that are going around YouTube that I want to talk about. I want to see what you guys have to say about things, what you guys know, and we'll have a good family discussion here. When I say family, I'm not talking necessarily Summer Wells family, our little Missing in Minutes family, our MIM, M-I-M. It's kind of funny because all these years I've worked on Ma'am, Making a Murderer, Now I'm working on Missing in Minutes, so it's MIM. So we went from, we flopped back and forth from Ma'am to Mim. So, I don't know about you guys, but I know we've only got a few, hardcore locked in set times. And so I wanted to kind of get into those a little bit. Hey, Sheila Smokey, good to see you. I know one of them that bothers me. And I'm going to hold off on that one. I'll wait on that one till we have a few more here. I don't know if somebody wants to tweet this out there that we're live or not. Maybe I can do it. Hold on. There's got to be a way for me to do it from here. Surely. Okay, let me see. We'll figure it out here. I used to do lives all the time and I could remember how I was doing them. Right now, it's like hit a button and hope it works. Okay, so we go here, and then we click there. So, yeah, this whole idea, if we walk the timeline, let me grab this link. Well, why can't I just share it? Will it let me do that from here? I'm not sure. We'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Let me see if I can remember that way. Oh, my computer is so slow, you guys. Yeah. Nah. Gotta change it up a little bit. I got some good sleep, man. I know I went to bed late last night, but I did sleep and I could hardly move this morning. Even got my son up accidentally late for school. It's like both my phones went dead in the middle of the night, which, what are the chances? So the alarm didn't go off. Okay, what should we say here? Well, let's go back and grab the title. Let's see, where can I just cut and copy and paste? As long as we're going to talk about kids. Okay, so this gentleman is 30-some years old by now. But when he was little bitty, my nephew, John, we'll call him, he would say he wanted to tut-tut-or-do. And that meant he wanted to cut, color, and glue. Tut-tut-or-do. Okay, and then we'll just put on here, live now. There we go. And we'll send it out onto the airwaves. Okay. Let's me come back over to top side. Where are we? There we go. Hey, Sky C. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you and welcome to the channel. So we're going to dig into this a little bit on the Summer Wells timeline, which is not an easy task because like I discussed, we know what time the prescription came through. We know what time the milk video was filmed. And we have kind of a feel from the milk video itself where they logistically were at a set point on the highway due to some really diligent researchers that looked up as the camera goes by it swings up to Candace and then you can see out the window. And there's poles and a shed and some other identifying markers, land markers. And they've been able to line those up. And so they know that was approximately 8 miles from their home. Sky Z says, glad to catch alive. I've been watching your replays. Well, we're happy to have you. All right, so if I remember right, well, before we even get into this, why do we not know the day before too? Why do they do this where they don't give this victimology of what the child was doing the day before or the person was doing the day before? It's like the incident starts at that morning when they woke up. Well, not necessarily. And we're going to dig into why. The boys being taken from the home and questioned. We have no results from that. We don't know if the boys are validating what the parents are saying. They were returned to the parents right away, but then later they were removed from the home. So it gets a little bit gray, right? But the most concerning thing on Summer, besides that she's missing, of course, is that we can't lock in not one clue. Everything on the internet is being based off of basically what family is reporting. And I find it interesting when I was researching the Madeline McCann case, which I realized this was a worldwide case. I personally did not get into the case and know what was going on, but I was requested to look it over. And somebody also wanted a tarot reading. For those of you that don't know, I do that too. Hey, Nan's Life made it. Good to see you, lovely. I brought you up last night. I remembered something you suggested, so if you get a chance, you'll have to go back and watch the live from last night. How do I say that? Is it Elira? How you doing, Elira? If I'm saying it wrong, tell me so I can learn it to say it right. And welcome to the channel. Okay, you guys. So the first thing that I remember being reported. Now, you guys are going to have to help me because this is not my forte. The Summer Wells case is just something I'm just like you guys. I'm just listening and picking up information from what family is saying. It comes to this storyline that we're being, how do I want to word this? Let me think on this for a minute. It's almost like it's being constructed. It's not like, there's statements that are being said that are startling by Dawn Wells. One of the persons, let me see what her channel is. Let me looky. She just did a video, and I just watched it, and I want to get it for you. Let me see if I can find it. It would be in my history. She was talking about this interview. Oh, God, I sure do watch a lot of videos. I'm looking. Shoot. It may have been on my other phone. History. Let me hit that. Okay, I'm going to have to paraphrase. And I'll try my best to locate that video and put the link down below. So, I believe she was reading what had been said on the call. Like, she was literally reading the transcript. What was interesting is there was this conversation going on with a male interviewer and Dawn Wells, the father of Summer Wells, who was a 5-year-old, reported missing on June 15th of 2021 from her basement. And this interviewer is going on about how this interviewer doesn't get abduction, like how it happens or something. I can't remember exactly the wording of the interviewer. But Dawn Wells goes to explain it, and then he starts talking about the timeline all on his own. Like, he feeds right into the the natural timeline of the events. And so it's not like he was questioned and he had to sit and think about the answer and then reply. He literally was trying to express to this interviewer, well, what else would you call it besides abduction? Because the interviewer kind of was like, I don't know if I would call that abduction. What is abduction? Don Wells uses the words, we were only about 20 feet from her. Only catches himself. He goes, we were only about 20. Well, and then he starts stuttering. I will definitely try to get this. I know I'll be able to get her channel on there for you so you can go listen to it yourself. That's not the first time that Don Wells says we. Now, I thought he was at work. And we have all kinds of questions about work. We have a rumor. Of course, everything's a rumor. Can I just go out there with a disclaimer that anything related to the Summer Wells case, except the fact that she is actually missing, is alleged at this point. I'm looking over at Topside and it says, Elira says, Skylink me to your channel. Thank you guys. So Don Wells said we when he was doing his reenactment where he drove his vehicle and he goes down to, quote, the funky shed, he calls it, where he was saying he was going to check the funky shed. Yeah, he never checks the funky shed, or he can't remember checking the funky shed. He goes down there past the funky shed. He makes sure that we know he's driving the Subaru. He tells us that. And he talks about seeing all three boys together. He goes in detail about that. And then he talks about the neighbor he sees. And that's when it cued him to know something was very, very wrong. Right? Well, he says, I turned here. So he's constantly saying we. That's weird. It's not like I'm going to be driving my car around by myself and then you guys are like, where were you today, Danny? I'd be like, oh, well, we went to work and then we had a sandwich. Unless I got worms. What is we? It's plural, meaning your preposition is telling on you. And the fact that he's in full conversation, not being asked the question at all to go over the timeline, and he's starting to get flustered because this interviewer's, like I said, this interviewer feels like he's real lax on the interview about believing into the abduction. So it's kind of like, well, this abduction theory, well, I don't know. And Don Wells is like, well, put off. Because all of a sudden someone's challenging the abduction theory. And this is when he goes into the spill. And so he's got that little fluster. And that's when I believe personally the truth leaks out. And he says, we were only about 20 feet from her. He says we a lot. So I put this little fishing video up on the screen for a specific reason. Oh, that's right, Nan's Life. Before we get into the fishing picture, I want to talk about this. So Nan's Life, she just nails it. Candace also said nobody was home. So where were the boys? Yes, if you don't believe me, go back and watch that interview that's so famous from the interview room with Chris McDonough, because they're standing in the driveway and he says, so who was home? And she said, nobody was home. Nobody was home. So if we start tracking this story as to these slip-ups, okay, so nobody's home. We are only standing like 20 feet from her. Did Summer really disappear from her home? Where are the boys? it just, I wish we had something from TBI to give us that timeline. Like, was Minecraft on was the IP making a registration with the Minecraft? Elira C says, didn't H say the boys were at work with Dawn? So yeah, that was another thing. Youth H, who allegedly accompanied Summer, Mom Candace, and Grandma Candace, I call her Grandma Candy, down to the water hole, the horse pond, whatever you want to call it. The trash place that had some water there that they allowed Summer to swim in. Anyway, Youth H, he's being interviewed on that same famous little interview there by Chris McDonough, and he states that to his knowledge, he believed at that time that the boys were at work with Dawn. Dad. That would really make sense why it would just be possibly when we get home, maybe she didn't have Summer either. Maybe she came home to an empty house. "5G and mask won't save you," said Grandma Candace was not there. I doubt it too. The fact that Mama Candace is stating in that same interview, because we're going to be talking a lot about that, is stating that Grandma walked all the way down to the water's edge. And Chris McDonough points out that's an awful rocky path, very uneven ground. Grandma just got out of the ER. They're waiting on her pain meds. She doesn't even have the medicine yet that she went into the ER to get. She's supposed to be in a lot of pain. How'd she walk down there? Huh? "5G, a mask won't save you. You are repeating a lie told by both Candace and Allie." "Which lie, hun?" Elira says, "And if she had a bad knee, why would she walk all the way down by the water and stand?" "A mask won't save you. You're going to have to point out what you're talking about." So 5G, a mask won't save you, says, which means you are helping them. What lie are you talking about? Because at this point, I can't keep up with the lies being told, because we are finding out all kinds of half-truths and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Sheila Smokey says, H said Grandma stayed in the truck. Yeah, and didn't he say she stayed in the car? I thought that was weird. I'm going to have to go check that. Did he say car or truck? Probably truck, huh? What are you doing, Gretchen? But he also kind of brought up something about Grandma playing on her phone because she was trying to add minutes. How would he know if he's down by the water? Because that's quite a hike. You're not going to be able to see up there. He said car. I thought so. Well, 5G, a mask won't save you. You can say, watch the Allie interview with, I think it's Unmask or Truth, something or another. But that doesn't help because we're on the live now and we don't have time to do that. So if you're going to say that I'm repeating a lie, I would think it would be very helpful if you would clarify what you're speaking of so that we don't mess it up. Allie first says Grandma's at ER getting her knee looked at. Ah. Okay. So that's why you feel like Dawn and Candace are saying Grandma's there. But A mask won't save you. You're saying that according to Allie, the friend Allie, the youth H's mom, that Allie first stated that grandma was at the ER when they went to the water hole. Is that what you're saying? Elira says, yes, he did. And then he said he walked down and Candace and grandma looked at flowers. Well, this is why this picture's up. You guys have done a real good point of segueing into why I chose this picture of summer fishing. So for those of you that are more familiar probably even than I am with this case, you probably already know why this picture is up here. Can anybody help fill me in why I might have chose this? Because this is a big deal to me. Let's go back over here. Gretchen, what are you doing, baby? She's sounding like a little pig, driving me crazy. 5G, a mask won't save you, says later in the interview, she brings up that video herself and says it's grandma in the truck asking about the arm being up. See, I don't think it's grandma in the car. Do you guys? If you think it's grandma in the car, put a 1. And if you don't think it's grandma filming the milk video in the car or truck, put a 2. Well, I don't know, Sheila. Maybe. Sheila says, you don't think G-Ma might be admiring flowers from the car? Well, that could be. So we have a no from 2 people. Nan's Life points out that H invited Candace to their home while Grandis was in the ER. Now, see, I still don't think so. I do not think that Hunter... Well, he did invite her to the home. That's true. That's true, Nan. But I don't think... I kind of jumped the gun there. I don't feel that that Hunter called Candace. I feel Candace called Hunter. And the reason is because Candace states that she put the baby, Summer, in a swimsuit before she left her home. So Summer and Candace had plans to go swimming. But that's not discussed at all when we get to H's. The only discussion there is when he talks about, well, it is discussed, but he talks about fishing. They're going to go fishing, and he wanted to go fishing. But they don't even seem to have poles with them. No tackle. Do they have fishing license? And then we have this little picture of Summer fishing. Yeah, Candace did call H. Nan's Life agrees. Yeah, everybody put a 2. So Sheila Smokey says, although Candy says she helped Grandma down the hill to the area. Well, Candace also said that the drug cartel had Dawn. Face it. If you're going to get out there and you're going to play games and prank, if you will, let me open my tea, prank people, whatever your reason is, don't be pissed off when nobody can believe a word you say. We've got average watch time 433. 67 in the house. Oh, such a good point, 5G. It's not about this gibberish and speculation. A little girl has had a rough life that got worse. Poor little kid. So, if Summer wasn't abducted, okay, what would your theory be? Let's say we ruled that out. I'm not saying that that isn't what happened. It very well could have happened. What would your go-to be if we find out that Summer wasn't abducted? What if we found out that Summer never made it home? Because that's what a lot of people believe, is that Summer may not have made it home. And you do have that opportunity there, even though they're 8 minutes from home when that milk video is being filmed. There is a pivot point where after those 2 poles with the shed that's shown in the video that give a landmarker, there's a road that Candace could have turned off and met Don Wells halfway. And there could have been a switch of kids. Nan's life would say accident. Very well could have been. I mean, it is strange when you look at the picture in the milk picture. There's that like L-shaped or V-shaped little dark spot on her forehead. She's not sweating at all. There's no perspiration. It's 86 or 84 degrees that day. She's in a jogging suit with clothes underneath it. There's no air conditioning in the car. Why is the child not perspirating? Sheila Smokey, you got such a good point. Like I said before, this is what she says. Hunter was last seen her alive in the truck waiting for shopping. And Hunter says they were in there. Grandma and Mom, Candace, were in the store for about an hour. Now, Mom Candace says it was 5 minutes. You know, again, how I know who's telling the truth? Is it Mom Candace or is it Hunter? One of them has misconstrued the facts. And there's a hell of a difference between 5 minutes and an hour. I'll tell you how I know Hunter's telling the truth. Because Candace can't keep her shit straight. And Candace said when she got home, she had to have Grandma and the boys unload the groceries. There's 3 boys. Also, they went through this whole ordeal of putting all the groceries away. Even taking some over to Grandma's. Nah. You're not even going to get through checkouts in 5 minutes. Hell, if you get your cart and you walk down one aisle, you're in it 10 minutes. Even on a good day. We know this. Really, Gretchen? Apparently Gretchen agreed. She's like, that's absolutely true. A mask won't save you. There was no accident. Okay, so that's your opinion, that there was no accident. But that doesn't make it fact because nobody knows right now. Yeah, Nan. The position of her hand seems odd to me, Nan says. I agree. Okay, good point, Cairo. But if there's an accident, why would they not bring her to the hospital? What do you guys feel? Why would they not? Huh? Well, again, there's another good point. 5G says baby had to go before she started school. Plus, Dawn liked Little Summer too much for Candace to put up with. Cairo says, in my opinion, kidnapped by someone that knew the family or sold. Now, a mask won't save you. Are you like local to the case? Or are you family to the victim? Mask says, 5G Mask says, it's actually a way of life for them. Nothing was kept or hidden from Candace. These people have grown up being abused and groomed. Ugh. So creepy. Elira says, I think this has to do with trafficking and was sold, in my opinion. So what happened to the fishing? Doesn't that seem weird? Summer said Candace said fishing. But we don't have any poles. And apparently Summer's in her bathing suit. So what does this fishing mean? Is there a code word for that? And was Hunter and Candace possibly, because I've heard this said too, was there more to the story? If you get my drift. He's 15. Yes, she's way older, but she's dating she's with her husband's way older, 5G says, totally sad to think of the emotional battering these kids take before they can even ride a bike. God, you're so right. I feel like it's just like a swarm of bees in my head when I think about it. It is heartbreaking. You're right, Elrya. So let's go over the timeline a little bit. And you guys, especially with those that know the case much better than I do, you can correct me as we go. I know there's a lag, so I'll probably have to back up. But I want to talk about it a little bit. So the first thing I know of is Dad says he woke up with Summer in his bed as normal. This would have been approximately 6:30 is what he said, and he went to work. Does everybody agree with that? Is what Dawn had said. But that's the first thing with Summer. Yeah, there's so many unthinkable things in this case. Got to keep my head from wrapping around it. So, what's the next thing? So that's 6:30 in the morning. Now, what time is it that we're at the ER parking lot in the morning? What time is Grandma's appointment? Is it around 8 or 8:30? So now we've taken Grandma into the ER. Holy crap. I'm going to stop the timeline scenario. That's such an amazing point. Hey, Tanya Morano. What really bugs me, Tanya says, what really bugs me is that Candace said, quote, no one would treat her like that while I was watching. Right? Or something to that effect. Treat her how? Oh my God. Right there it tells you that Candace knows something went wrong and that she wasn't with that baby. That's my opinion. But that's all I got in this case is my opinion. A715 says she put Summer in bathing suit before leaving that day because it was hot. And then she states she put her in the jogging suit because she got cold all the time. And then A7's got those like red cop lights, like red flag, red flag, red flag. Yeah, it's a contradiction. Rhonda K is asking, are Donna and Candace the biological parents of all the children? Yes, but I had the weirdest thing sent to me. And I was like, good Lord, I don't know. This was asked, and this is going to sound so offensive, but it stuck with me, and it's not my question, but I'm going to share it. So one listener emailed me and said, how is it possible that a child that pretty could have come from Don and Candace Wells? How do we know that that's their kid to start with? And I'm like, ew, that's crazy. I mean, at this point, we're in one of those cases like the Stephen Avery case where anything could happen because there's no locked in pattern being revealed at this time. Elira says, in her opinion, this was planned. Oh, I totally can feel something going on with the planning. The reason I base my planning is because number one red flag is the red car at work. It's like a red herring to say, hey, look at me. See, I have an alibi. Make sure you see me. Something that stands out. And that red car has the GPS. Tanya Morano says, plus she said that in that one interview where was clearly on something, perhaps benzos, and I get that feeling that she realized she said that and tried to take the conversation elsewhere. Oh, I know. What a Silkman. Her first interview with Chris. Timestamps are like 4 something and then 14 something. Yeah. You're right. And I do have a video out that was my first video on a missing child, which was Summer Wells. And that kind of hits on that. Like it does a comparative thing where we've got, because it actually is the words from Candace. Like it's a recording of her voice. And I put them back to back where it's like she's saying that Summer's so hot. And that's why she put that swimsuit on her. Because, that's how Summer is. She gets hot. And then right away the comparison is, why is a jog suit on or something like that? And the jogging suit was, well, because Summer gets cold and that's how she is. How did Summer... Okay, in the beginning of the day, we all know it's much cooler than the middle of the day. Right? There's no air conditioning. You're in the hot car. You're going to be in the hot car with no air conditioning while your mom goes in there and buys enough groceries that grandma and the boys have to help put them away and carry them in. So you need 4 people besides yourself to carry these groceries. I think we have a little bit more than milk and cheese in the basket. Oh, so good. I've got to remember to put that. There is a reward fund that has been started for summer. So I will try my best to find that link and put it in this video and the other videos so that you can donate directly to that fund. Don't come at me. I don't want anything to do with... I've never done that where I do donations and all that. I can't keep up with that. I don't want to do that. So I just give you directly the links that are going to help that individual the most. Like in the past with Brendan Dassey, I've put up like his canteen so that you could just go straight to him. Oh, a Silkman says, we are a foster home. Those boys will start talking as soon as they get comfortable with foster parents. Damn right. They also say, this case has me all sorts of messed up. Oh, I totally agree. Like this, back in the day when I first was really, really heavily understanding what was going on in the Avery case, like, I couldn't put it down. It was so unjust that, like, to this day, I haven't been able to put it down. Like, I back off of it publicly here and there. I take breathers, but I can't put it down because it doesn't make sense. And that's why I can't let this go. Nothing in this case is making sense. LC Justice for Victims says, come to my channel, subscribe, remember reward fund, and donate for Summer Wells video. Okay. I appreciate it. I'll put a little link up there for you in my little video. We all work together. We want to bring this kid home. .5G says, people might not quite understand how much the boys' way of life has already shaped them by the time they're a year old. I don't want to throw shade on these boys, because they have had a hell of an upbringing. But the family is constantly throwing the boys under the bus. They are. And you might be mad at me for saying such. We got 100 in chat right now. The reason I say that is because we hear again and again the parents laying the responsibility of Summer onto these young children, these boys. And talking about how Summer had to hold her own and blah, 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 blah. How she had to chase him around on the bikes. If this child's 5 years old, why doesn't she have her own bike? Why are the boys getting a bike? Tanya says, and probably just carry groceries in because I don't think there was a lot of putting away from the interview room video, except for things that go in the fridge and freezer. How long can that take? Well, if you have all three boys come out and help you, I guess you could give each one of them a gallon of milk and the other one cheese, and then grandma her stuff. But remember, H talks about being in the car for an hour. Now, kids can lose track of time. I can remember being in the car as an adult thinking, oh my God, is this person ever going to come out of the store? You know, and the more you wait and the more you focus on time, it gets away from you, and you might think it's an hour when it's legitimately 10, 15 minutes. Who knows? LC Justice for Victims says, thank you for supporting my channel. I'm here for Summer Wells, but get live someday. Education purpose for case. But get live someday. Education purpose for case. Not sure I understood that part. Well, LC Justice for Victims, we would love it if you would share our channel as a thank you. Oh my God, a Silkman5 says, this is my point. This is my point. And who in the world locks their kids in the house? What if there was an accident? What if there was an emergency? Right? Well, don't tell me that they weren't locked in that house, because Candace stood in that living room and told Chris McDonough, no way in, no way out. Yeah. So Candace also told the mortician from her church, David, when he showed up that night that Summer was missing and the search was on, she called David because she couldn't get a hold of Robin, allegedly. And then Robin and David came together. And David reports that Candace said the door was locked in the basement. And the boys reported the door was locked to David in the basement. And Candace showed that it's very hard to open to Chris McDonough on the interview. I don't see it, you guys. I don't see how somebody could have gotten out the front door. They would have had to be hiding in the basement before the door's locked, or gotten in the house when nobody was home. I don't know. Sky Z says that was creepy. The house screams trafficking. Ugh. Good Lord. At this point, oh, we got playbacks with 111 in chat, so that's cool. At this point, I'm just glad the boys aren't at the house, because with the shenanigans that's going on in that house and the drama with the police having to return there, and oh, good Lord. These kids got to be starting school soon. Oh, I follow you. LC Justice for Victims says, yes, ma'am. I get subscribes at 1,000. I can go live podcasts to do my cases. But for now, I'm just education purpose with other subscribes cases in learning purpose for me now. Well, you guys, if you're up for it and you want to support LC Justice for Victims, who is working on that Summer Wells case and trying to share information, if we can get him up to 1,000, that would be beautiful. A Silkman 5 says CPS has been involved for a while. They failed Summer. I think we all agree that CPS has failed Summer and these boys. The boys should have never had to go through what they did for them to be removed, in my opinion. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to scoot my chair up, but I'm on carpet with wheels. Honest to God, the lifestyle is one thing. Everybody enjoys a good country life, you know, playing in mud puddles and swinging on the swing. It's beautiful. But it has to be balanced out with nutrition and food and, you know, appropriately being watched over by adults, children as young as those boys. Good God. Anything could happen when the 3 boys are home alone. I had 3 sons myself. I will tell you now that my children were 15, 17, and I think the other one was 30 or 28, something like that, right? The 28-year-old came home one day with a 15 and a 17-year-old, and they were in headlocks fighting each other. You just never know, because teenage boys, look at the Avery kids. For God's sake, one of the Avery brothers took a shovel, like a full-blown shovel, after another Avery brother. Oh my God, Nan's life. Are you sure on that? I don't want to go reading that if it's not 100%. Well, nothing's... Okay, we'll just go alleged, okay? Because like I said, we don't have any TBI statements or FBI statements, so we'll just go with it. Nan's Life says, CPS was supposed to be scheduled to visit the home the day it happened. Good God. Good God, if there is ever a red flag in any case, 7-11 watch time and playbacks 11-7. So that goes 117711. I just got goosebumps all over my arms. Holy crap. That's like a bombshell in itself. I'm going to be rechanging the name of this. That's shocking. I'll tell you why. I was left abandoned at 4 in a motel. And then, I don't know who it was, some agency, probably CPS, whatever, came and got me, located from the registry of my mother's maiden name, and tracked down. I had a grandmother across the United States. And so I stayed in foster care until the grandma came and picked me up. Right? And it was just like, I ended up back with my mother later, like a couple years later. And then she just would come get me because there was nothing grandma could do, because legally the law said I belonged to my mother. So the mother, who wasn't a mother, she was just a human being that she was pissed off at mom, her grandma, her mom, my grandma. And so the way to get back at grandma is to snatch the kid away because she was a narcissist. Anyway, make a long story that I've already completely went a tangent on. So I got interviewed by CPS or whatever it is much later after I had some abuse by my mother. She got overly strong-handed. And so I got questioned. And do you know, I looked straight in those people's faces and completely lied and told CPS or whoever they were that my mother had not harmed me in any way, that nothing had happened. Do you know why? Because I was terrified of foster care. It was used to threaten me. If I didn't put up with the crap, the drugs, the sex, and stuff like that as a child around me, that they basically did horrible things to children in foster care is what I was told. So, oh my God, at least I knew my perpetrators, if you will. So I just would pick one evil over the other. So with CPS scheduled to come in that home, Summer's too young to truly intimidate, perhaps. Perhaps they're terrified of what she's going to tell CPS. Is that the motive for the reason why she was gone on June 15th? Oh, sorry. I said sorry because there was something not showing. I had to show it. Let's see here. A Silkman 5 says, and CPS still waited a few weeks to take the boys. What the actual, well, he doesn't say what the actual hell. He says, WTH. I say, what the actual hell? Why would they have waited to take the boys? CPS has failed these children. LC Justice for Victims says, thank you for supporting me, but subscribe. Amazing channel I'm on now. Gotcha. Okay. 5G says, I guess they all group together. Like if you do a check on a trailer park near school on the computer and the whole darn place lights up. Cairo says, I was in foster care for around 10 years. Some foster care places are really bad and some are really great. That is so true. Hey, Cocoa Beach Village. Welcome to the channel. Exactly. And Coco says, same with Aunt Rosemarie. They were going to talk. Oh my God. I just thought of something. You know how Candace tries to say how she was in between states when her sister went missing, and Don says he never met her? How did they already have a child the age that they did? No. Don would have been, wouldn't Don have been part of the family for a couple years when Rosemarie Bly went missing? Yes, if you're newer to the case, not only is this 5-year-old Summer Wells missing, but in 2009, Rosemarie Bly, 21 years old, her aunt, Candace, the mom, Summer's mom, her sister, Rosemarie Bly, went missing and has never been heard from again. I kid you not. 132 in chat. Mask is taken off. You have a great night, and thank you so much for coming on. I look forward to talking to you again. Elira C says, I think they backed up to see what was going to happen with Summer. I'd have snatched the boys out of there. There's no way I would have risked it. Sister missing, kids, I would have taken them all right away. Maybe that's just me. I'm not CPS. Yeah, it is scary how some people go missing, Cairo says, and are never heard from again. So very scary. Well, LC Justice for Victims, I'll tell you what, love. The best way to get started is to be consistent as you can. I mean, I've never really, tried to grow it really, really big or anything. But just be yourself, get out there, and, whatever you do in life, I believe, you guys, that you do with passion and good. Little tiny channel. I mean, I'm just now reaching 5,000 and I haven't grown much, Well, I posted my earnings, let me tell you. It was $12 and some, and my pay-per-view premium was I want to say it was 15 cents more that I had to pay than I made. And I was so pissed because somebody accused me of making money and profiting. And I'm like, oh my God. Average watch time, 808. No, it buffered like my screen reset, so something just happened. You are welcome, LC Justice. Absolutely. And, when it comes to these missing kids, we need to work together as channels and spread the awareness. And there's nothing wrong with having open discussions, because every single time that one of these missing children's faces are seen, it is just so much more of a chance that they're going to be seen in real life. That's what we can hope for. Hi, Kine. You snuck in on me, like tiptoed in the door. Geez, Tanya, you really hitting them out the park. Tanya says, let me see, did you say something else with you? Oh, you're just agreeing. Okay. And Tanya says, the only picture on those walls is precisely of Rose. That is also kind of odd. Yeah. There is rumors of, I believe it was Jeannie, saying that Candace actually may have killed Rose. And that Grandma, I don't know if Jeannie said anymore, but someone else, I've heard others suggest that it's possible that Grandma Candace covered it up because she didn't want to lose two daughters. Do me a favor, leave your DNA on the like button if you're wanting to support the channel. It helps the algorithm, gets more people in on our chats, gets more people to see this face of this child. And that's what we do. We bring awareness on all kinds of good stuff. Oh, Kind says, I'm adopted. I was 3 months old and remember the whole thing. I'm also one of those rare people that remember being born. I've never heard of that. That's wild. 144 playbacks. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the idea that CPS is coming through the door that day and the kid goes missing? Why has that not been all over the internet? That's motive. Like, up to this point, I couldn't imagine why this kid would have disappeared. And I've been feeling as though she's being groomed to be able to go to school. They took her to church so that, they could try to get her to domesticate a little bit and not run all over the place and climb the walls and furniture. And it's almost, I've hit the mic twice, sorry about that. It's almost like they're grooming her, trying to get her to adjust to being around a lot of people in public. What's your feelings? Ouch, my foot. Oh my God, I got pins and needles in my left foot. I sat on it too long. Cocoa Beach Villa says subscribe. Check. You'll be at 109,000 before you know it. That would be incredible. That would be insane. I would love it. I also do like that we're very personable. We know our people. We get to know people really good, and we get to have, give everybody a voice if we can. Well, I can't get over this whole thing. I'm so glad I came on. I learned so much tonight. You guys telling me that CPS was scheduled on the day that Summer went missing. It makes me look at this whole timeline completely different. Does anybody know what time? So if CPS is coming, what is Sandus? Whoa. What is Candace doing running all over away from the home? Wouldn't she... Wouldn't she need to be there? Kind says that would have changed the entire focus of the investigation. Amen. Pass the butter. And the corn on the cob. I'm starving. I need to make a good meal. I haven't sat down to a good meal in a few nights, and I really can tell. That's just got my mind blown. Like, I guarantee you, you guys know me as RD. Your girl's going to be up half the damn night thinking about this whole new timeline, because to me, that changes everything. That's like the bombshell of the night, or of the hell. That just shocks the shit out of me. It puts motive for the parents to not have a summer, especially if this child is SA'd. Yeah, I'll show it for you, LC. Yeah, absolutely. Good Lord, Nan's Life says yes because of the domestic charge on Don that apparently Candace dropped. Well, let's go over that. So we have that when, and I'm going to compare two situations. So if we go back in history, and we always know history repeats itself, right? So if we look at Jeannie's case, she went and reported to the police officers when she was SA'd, or the alleged attack at the time, where the boys were chasing her and tearing at her clothes, right? Then stepdad finds out, which is actually Don Wells's dad. And his name is Don Wells too, so we'll call him Don Wells Sr. So when stepdaddy Don finds out that Jeannie's done this, he strongly suggests she go down and recuse herself from that situation to repair the situation, withdraw her statement, make an excuse, whatever she's got to do. And so she did. We have that same exact behavior again. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because Candace went in and made the report that she feared for herself, her mother, and her children because of Don Wells. And she named her children as being fearful for them, right? And then she went in and recused it all, took it all back, withdrew her statement. And then Don Wells gets on there on the television, which is just basically media of any kind to me, because I don't watch television. So YouTube's television to me. Facebook's television to me. But anyway, he gets on an interview that I saw, and he's like, well, and then she apologized to me. I wanted to go puke. Cocoa Beach Village says, I think Candace was giving Summer drugs all along to calm her and make her sleep while they partied. I think she OD'd her. I think that's why they won't admit they ate that day. She put meds in the food. Wow. I have often thought about the ODing thing, because the child is cold, right? Gets put in a jacket. Well, let me tell you something. That is part of what happens sometimes on OD'd victims. When they've OD'd and they're going through this process, they'll go into a place where their circulation doesn't work as good, and they get super cold and shaking and stuff like that. And so they may not be reacting to the heat. Now, I saw somebody mention gummy drugs. So, like, is there some sort of a chewable that look like candy, like a gummy version of a prescription that Summer may have gotten even confused at this point? But now that, what do you want, Gretchen? Come on, sit, Mama, sit down. Now that we know CPS was on their way that day, scheduled to come in that day, I don't seriously doubt at all that, I mean, if she's willing to give a 15-year-old a twisted tea and possibly more, was she sedating that child? Come here. What is it you want? I know you don't have to go potty. I just took you before we started. And you've had your snacks. Gretchen's been super whiny ever since little Maya's been gone, so. LC Justice for Victims says, I lived in Hawkins County 20 years and more, Tennessee. Well, we're happy to have your knowledge on the case. Nan's Life says Candace was sleeping with Summer on a mattress in the basement. Why? How the heck did she get down there with her knee? Through the downstairs door? I don't know. Let me figure out Gretchen real quick. Come here, baby. Where are you even? I can't even see you. Where are you hiding? I hate it when she cries and hides, and I don't know what it is that bothers her. She's been really off ever since we lost Maya. I'm sure she's trying to figure it out. What you want, baby? What you want? Mama's here. You're fine. You want Mama to wrap you up? I gotta wrap her up in a little blanket, see if that helps. She might be cold. You know, I got the air on, so she just had a haircut, so she probably is a little chillier without her warm fur coat. Sheila Smokey says, I thought that too with Grandma RX and Hippie House. They bought gummy looking like candy. See? Oh my God. Yeah, Grandma gave her a piece of candy. Grandma claims it was peppermint in that one, like, text. Yeah, that's my... she's not really a puppy. She's actually... Oh, Lord, let's see. I got her in 2010. She's 11 years old. Lordy. She don't look 11 to me. Oh, Lord, Kind. Kind says, just a gummies candy injected with the same neurotoxins found in the puffer fish. You know, with all the lies and crap going on, is it possible, 172 in chat now, is it possible, I'm just asking this, is it possible, not only was this planned, is it possible that they sent her down in the basement after giving her whatever it was they gave her, and then they loaded her back up in the car and left the house and met Don halfway? We have just so many discrepancies in this case. But I find it very peculiar this kid is not sweating. This little girl is not sweating in the back seat. There is no way in hell. I was born in Florida. I was raised in Arkansas. And I even lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Dalton, Georgia. I know heat. When you're in the South and it's 80-some degrees, and you're in jogging pants, jogging jacket, and a shirt, probably, why, no air conditioning. How is this child not hot? So there was that church-going David Dodson, or whatever his name was. We'll call him David. He's a mortician. Would the church, like members of the church, protect the family if they were lied to and told that an accident had happened and that they didn't want the state to take away the boys? Would the church have helped? Because David is a mortician. Yeah, it was 82 degrees. I think it got up to 86. Akairo says Dodson only knew them for 3 months. Yeah, I can't see some church risking their shit over knowing somebody for 3 months. Hey, Just Me is here. She says, did you listen to the dispatch call? Are you talking about the one where the mother went for a walk? Because that's quite clearly delivered. You think so? Akairo says, and he, meaning David, I believe, was interviewed by a YouTuber, and he sounded really meaning suspicious. He kept saying and all the time while he was talking, which is a sign of lying. Oh, God. I say and all the time. I really do. Like, I'm trying to pause to remember the other part. True. I'll see. Justice says, parents do give children meds if hyperactive to slow them down. Energy for like a nap time, but not hurt child. Accident? No. Kind says, being familiar with 2 other cases in which 2 innocent people are in prison, I think the answer you're looking for is almost already spelled out. It starts with a why. A why? You got me stumped. Hey, Lolaroo. Don claimed it was because he had worked on the hangar. Prove it, Don. Just Me says, it also said that the door was unlocked. Don says the door was unlocked, yeah. But the boys and Candace reported to David, according to David. So that's 4 people reporting to David that the door was locked. And we know that Candace did show Chris McDonough that it's a very difficult door to maneuver, that basement door. Oh, gotcha. Lola Rue says David is ex-Air Force, I meant. Wow. What do you guys think about the theory? Because I've heard this too. I've heard people say that they believe wholeheartedly that Dawn picked up Summer, like an exchange where Candace gets the boys, Dawn gets Summer, and that he literally, by then, she was already gone. Like, you know, they use the word gone so much, which to me, when someone's gone, they've passed over. But that's just my opinion. But the rumor, or a lot of people feel that it's very possible that Dawn literally took Summer's body to work, and I don't even want to say it, put her behind a wall. Hey, Noelle with an E. How you doing, sweetheart? Someone said today that not only did the boys have lice, which got cured, but when they got taken by CPS, someone leaked out, and allegedly, that the boys had body lice, scabies. Which are miserable. Miserable. When I was 9 in Jacksonville, Florida, was put in daycare while my mom was doing her thing, whatever that was at the time. And apparently they didn't have a very clean place, because within 2 weeks of staying there, I had what looked like track marks all over my back and my stomach on both sides of my spine. And I was taken to the doctor, and the doctor said it was body lice, which was the most miserable thing I had ever experienced. And I had to go through all kinds of medications and all kinds of stuff, and I was never taken back to that daycare, thank God. LC Justice for Victims points out in a picture on door, TBI post, if took as evidence, door frame was busted out. If you look photos, see cracked area. I do see the door is cracked. It doesn't look like it shuts anymore. So that's probably very true, because that's the door that was supposed to be left. That's why I say, where's the DNA in this case? If we're looking at an abductor, you're going to tell me that they entered the home and didn't leave any DNA? From a background from the Avery case, I find that highly suspect. Yes, it does, Noelle with an E. Body lice totally differs from head lice. Both are horribly miserable. My child got it one time at school, and we got a little note that said it. I didn't think she could possibly have it because she always had clean hair. And I went to look, and she had blonde hair, but I'll be damned. I found an egg, and we had $500 worth of money spent immediately, and everything in your house has to be washed. Everything. Your furniture, your bedding, your curtains, your walls, your floors, every single thing in your house has to be cleaned, and you have to do it with certain things on the body, and it is expensive. Oh my God. Well, you guys, I think that's probably the most shocking thing I could have learned in this case tonight. You guys have educated me on the fact that CPS was due in that day. I will be looking into that as a motive as to why this child is gone from here out. There's no way anybody's going to convince me that that doesn't play a part. Just my opinion, that weighs heavy because it provides motive. It provides a reason why June 15th this child may have went missing. 8:44 watch time. Nan's life. But Avery's case also has selective DNA. Oh, good Lord, for real. Just to touch on the Avery case real quick. So, when Zellner put that little rebuttal out there to the state that really, it didn't get filed, but it was for us, you know. And I read that part about the state claiming that the post-conviction experts were claiming Stephen was guilty. I put the time lock on that video so you can go to one of the comments and see where somebody mentions it. And you can see my response, and I put the timestamp there. Just go click that timestamp because it's such a natural, reaction from me. It took me back. I was like, what the hell are they smoking? The state's smoking crack. That's what I thought to myself. I'm like, this is absurd. Oh, good Lord. I just had to say that. I had to get over there. Kind said, I'm not trying to be mischievous, but I know I can't even read it, you guys. Kind says, let me laugh for a minute. Okay, I'm going to try to read this without laughing. It's just worded so cute. Kind says, I'm not trying to be mischievous, but I know a girl who never left any DNA on a key lanyard she owned for years. Oh my God, you made me snort. Oh, my eyes. I got tears in my eyes. Can't read chat no more. I needed that. Oh. Whew. Yeah. That was so funny. Yeah, and that same girl kind, I heard a rumor she didn't leave any DNA in a car she owned for 2 years, too. She was like Wonder Woman. She could go places and leave no DNA at all, not a trace. The victim who left no trace. Yeah, all these cases with no trace all add up to something smells bad in the kitchen. Man, Manitowoc pisses me off so much. I'm getting loopy. I better get off here before I offend somebody. Beth Turner says, just a note before we go back to Summer. What Gannon Staunch went through before his death is horrendous. My heart really breaks for me. He fought for his life. I don't know how to say that name. Forgive me if I say it wrong. Leticia deserves whatever he gets. Gannon Staunch. Who was Gannon Staunch, lovely? Cocoa Beach Village says, I checked online and it looks like the temps that day had a high of 83.9 and lows in the early morning of 70s. So it's colder in the morning. Let's put her in the skimpiest clothes. And as it gets hotter, let's put jogging clothes on her and cover her up with, layers. Makes no sense. True, Tanya. Back to the Stephen Avery case, Tanya says, but her, meaning TH, her killer, had the superpower of leaving sweat DNA with a single touch. Right. Kind says, good for you to laugh that hard. It's been a while. I think she could magically change the year and color of her Rav, too. The superpower of, oh Lord, she could change the color of a Rav with a single thought, right? The pretrial is heartbreaking. God, I got to get up to speed on some of these cases. Elsie Justice for Victims says, thank you for shouting my channel. Everyone go subscribe to us on YouTube channel. I'm going to share for Summer Wells. Yeah, and you know what, Elsie Justice? What I'll do is I'll go into my description and I'll put an @ symbol, and then it'll show me a list of all the other channels, and I'll type LC, and that way I can tag you in this video, and then you could do the same for me, and we can, help share this information on all these cases. Oh my golly, we got 9/11 watch time. 200 people in chat. Wow, we're really getting her up there. 209, actually. Yeah, I think this has been one of those kind of cases where I'm talking about Summers, where once the details come out, we're all going to be like going, yeah, and I do feel that, think about how much candy we have in this case. And I hate to say it, but if you go try to type out, like, on your phone, candy is also another word for, like, sex, if you will. It is. Like, one time I was like, how do I make hard candy? And I typed it in. This is about 15 years ago, and the internet filled up with pornographic images, and I was like, what the hell? I was just in shock. I showed my husband. I was like, what in the world? And he's like, well, candy, And I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm trying to make peppermints or butterscotches or chocolate dipped candy, and why am I getting this kind of response? So it's weird. We've got candy all over this case. We got Candace, grandma. We've got Candace, mom. We have Candace, the stepsister. We got grandma giving candy to Summer. We've got last thing she's seen is getting candy by the adults. And then you've got Don Wells going on and on and on, like for a full 5-minute thing on Voices Behind the Wall. How he would bring a bag of candy home to Summer every night except for once or twice, and he was just too tired. And all this, and it goes into great detail about how she runs down the hill, and she opens his truck door. She weighs a whole 38 pounds. She opens his big truck door. Anyway, and so he even goes into detail about how when he leaves for work in the morning, she tells him what kind of candy she wants, and sometimes she gives him a list on this candy, and then Cher comes back about 10 minutes later and says, okay, I have another question for you, Don. What was Summer's favorite candy? And he can't answer it. He has no clue. He just stumbles and kicks the dirt with the shoe and looks uncomfortable as hell. And then she even tries to help him. She's like, well, like when you went to the store to buy candy, what would you have bought for summer? And he ho-hums around forever. Finally, he's like, Tic Tacs? You know what just came to my head? Is when Brendan couldn't answer the question as to how Teresa died because he didn't know it. It wasn't in his head. Don Wells didn't have in his head what Summer's favorite candy was. And what do we teach you when you're little? What do we all learn? What do we teach our kids about strangers and candy? I think this whole bullshit about candy is to implicate an abductor. That Summer was gullible when it came to candy, like cheese to a mouse. That's what I think this is all about. And I think you guys could be right. I think it's highly probable at this point, with Summer bouncing off the walls and you got a mom that's getting high, drinking, hanging down by the river, very possible that she may have sedated Summer in some way, given her something to slow her down. 220 in chat. Cocoa Beach Village says, and an abductor did so in 2 minutes, per Candace saying Summer was only out of her sight for a couple of minutes. Very unlikely. Cairo says, I find it weird that 2 people in the family have gone missing. Who knows the person that took Rose Bly? Could be the same person that took Summer. Yes, Beth Turner. Poor little Summer. God. Just Me says, all that I have seen is she went missing in Wisconsin. Are you talking about Rose Marie Bly? She was 21. She was a mother. She was married. She was supposed to go out to a bar with friends. We've got 222 playbacks. And we've got 33 concurrent viewers or whatever. Just want to share that. And so Rosemary went out in 2009, and then her car was found several miles, like 5 or 8 or maybe even more, in a different parking lot completely. And then Grandma Candy says to a friend at that time, one of her best friends, who was also named Rose, I believe. I could be mistaken, but she said to this person, that's so weird that they just found my daughter's car. I'm just paraphrasing, because I just drove by the lot. We're talking about Rosemary Bly, who went missing, and they have never heard from her again. Hakuna Matata 89 says, I find it weird that dogs didn't bark at all. Yeah. And if you got Candace there, and Grandma, and the boys, nobody heard the dog bark. Not one dog. They all left. Maybe it's that old theory like, would you hear a tree fall if nobody's in the forest? Would it still make a sound? Because, as Candace said, no one was home. Holy shit. I just had an epiphany. There's no way in hell those boys were home alone with CPS coming. There's no way. There's no way is Candace or Dawn going to leave those 3 boys home alone on the exact day that CPS is coming. There is no effing way. No way. Beth Turner says, my ex's wife used to give my kids and her kids Benadryl and who knows what else to make them sleep because she didn't want to deal with them day or night. I just couldn't prove it. Oh, God, Beth. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hakuna Matata says, didn't she also have custody of Candace's 2 older children at the time she went missing? I don't think so. The two older children. No, I don't think so. I'm not sure I understand the question, so I might be answering it wrong. But did Candace have custody of her two older children at the time Summer went missing? No. Not that I've heard. Cocoa Beach Village says, yes, Cairo, you're right. Candace Dawn and use of massive drugs are most likely the ultimate culprits, involved both disappearances, as CPS was digging in both times when suddenly someone disappears. Oh my God, you guys, this is the best live I've ever done on Summer Wells. Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Because, oh my God, you guys are tying this shit together. Think about it. CPS had been called. There was a CPS war, if you will, between the families with Rosemary Bly and I believe it was like one of the sisters, the other sisters. So Candace has other sisters. Dawn Wells has sisters and brothers and all that too. But, so CPS had been called or something. In the Rosemary Bly case when she went missing, what was Rosemary Bly going to be telling to CPS about those children? And was it Candace's children? Because now we have CPS coming back in on June 15th. And according to Candace, the boys are home alone, according to Candace, in one statement. The other statement is she said no one was home, which is what I believe. Fair Witness says, ding, I'm here. Sorry I'm late. You're never late, Fair Witness. You're always on time. You're always right where you need to be. We missed you, though. Okay, Cairo. Wait, say that again. All right. So when Aunt Rose, Marie Bly, went missing in 2009, there was CPS being... Rose had allegedly called CPS on her sister because of neglect of the children. I'm not sure which sister. I'm asking, could it be Candace, right? Now, jump ahead. We have Summer's disappearance on the day that CPS is scheduled to come in on June 15th. And what in the hell? There is no way those boys are home alone with CPS on their way. Nope. No potato head. I got that from Tyler Tarot. He cracks me up. I'm going to jump off on just a memory here of my own. So I watch this guy do tarot, and he's awesome. But he gets so mad at the hecklers in the crowd, and he'll call them potato heads, and he'll be like, excuse me. And he gets so riled up. He's so cute. But yeah, what are the chances of this happening twice? Not a day. Not once. No. There's just no way. Laura McKinney, thanks for all you're doing to help. Keep up the great work. Bring Summer home. Thanks, Laura. Hakuna Matata says, plus one of John's sisters said that him and his ex-wife used to move all the time to Utah to dodge CPS. I have absolutely heard that myself too. Nan's Life points this out. Apparently Candace has a child in rehab center due to abuse and an older child from previous relationship. Yes, I heard that the child was abused by a baseball bat. That bad. Good God. Somebody mentioned today, it was Michelle After Dark, was talking about some allegations that have been brought up that are alleged at this point. But if they are true, it's insane. Because allegedly, word is getting out about what the boys have reported, and they were reportedly taken away, allegedly, due to being pulled, their hair being pulled, and being punched by both parents. That's what's out there, allegedly. Tanya Morano says, would CPS let them know they're going on a specific day, or maybe someone tipped them off? Sorry, not from the U.S. I don't know how it would work. Well, actually, CPS usually will give you heads up of 24 to 48 hours when they're coming out. They may not give you an exact precise time. They'll say morning or afternoon, so that you don't really have an exact moment. But they do usually inform the parents within a set amount of time. Like they might say, well, we're going to be stopping by this coming week, possibly Tuesday morning or something like that, right? Fair witness says, I don't know anything about this case. Where can I go to get caught up so I can participate and add my 2 cents? Well, lovely. Anywhere on the internet, just type in Summer Wells, because all we have in this case is this. Locked in hardcore, we have a child named Summer Wells who is 5 years old, approximately 40 pounds, approximately 3 feet tall. She went swimming with allegedly her mother and allegedly her grandmother and allegedly youth H. They went and got groceries. They run around all over town, and then they went home, put away the groceries, and then they planted flowers with grandma and mom. Summer did. The other 3 boys are in the house. Mom said that grandma gave Summer candy, and she walked the child 20 feet over to the house, and she told the boys to keep an eye on Summer. She went back. She spent 2 minutes on fixing grandma's knee brace, re-entered the home, asked the boys where Summer was. The boys said she went down in the basement to play. When mom claims she went in the basement, Summer was, quote, gone. And that's all there is. I mean, that's it. Cairo. CPS is Child Protective Services. If there is actual neglect in the home, it is their responsibility, their duty, to take the child to a safer place, especially until there can be a hearing to find out what is really going down. But they are the ones that will come in and assess the situation to find out if the child is in danger, basically, and have the legal authority to remove the child against the parents' wishes, no matter what. All they got to say is the situation does not look right, that it looks unsafe. And then it'll go before a judge or a family commissioner and people like that, and it'll be assessed, and an investigation will take place. And then there are times that CPS does not do their duty, and they just let it go, and they let it go, and they let it go. Beth Turner says, usually they just show up, but sometimes they show up unannounced to see how things are when you are not expecting them. That is true too. It is a way to see how things really are, and you can't stage it. True. Nan's Life says, Cairo, I think their CPS is run very similar to ours in Canada. I've always been very protective of children's information. I boycotted YouTube for a year because they got in trouble with the COPA law, which is the Child Protective Law, for selling the information of youth, minors, to third parties. So for a while, and they got a $170 million fine out of that, which is nothing to YouTube. But things got changed after that. YouTube put the responsibility mostly on the creator to determine if our videos are suitable for children or not, which had nothing to do with the mailing, and it was terrible. Excuse me. So Cocoa Beach Village says, yes, Cairo, CPS is Child Protective Services. They were close to taking the children away, and is why CPS checks were ongoing. She had supposedly told the boys to clean the house that day CPS arrived. Ugh. This just has blown my mind. Think about it. We've got Aunt Rose Marie Bly going missing in 2009. She has called CPS allegedly, and she disappears. Summer goes missing on the day CPS is supposed to come to the home, to Candace and Don's home. Cocoa Beach Village says, yes, Rose was trying to get custody of the other 2 children when Rose suddenly went missing. I'd put my money on Candace and Don. If I was a betting person. 255 in the chat. Well, this case just took a turn. For the first time, I can literally see a connection for me, in my opinion. We've got the same incident, same suspicious incident. And I'll bet you, if we find out what happened to Rose Marie Bly, we'll find out what happened to Summer. If this, if you think about it, it really rules out child trafficking and so forth in one way. And that is that they would be they're trying to shut her up. They would be trying to shut Summer up. And Grandma is giving candy to Summer. Isn't it weird how TBI let Grandma leave the state? And Grandma went right back up north. Now, Rose Marie Bly went missing from Wisconsin. Believe that or not, it's true. I agree, Cairo. There has to be a connection. Beth Turner said, I heard that Don might have something to do with Rose's disappearance. Yes, fair witness. There was a huge search for Rose Marie Bly. I actually remember hearing of the name back years ago, but I didn't do anything with it. I would see it on the news and stuff. Hakuna says, both of Summer's parents have very dark and twisted pasts. I've been the same feeling as soon as I watched all their full interviews. If they didn't personally do something to her, they know who did. Okay, I want to play this back for a minute. All right, let's walk a theory. Yes, they did use dogs as well on Summer's case. I don't know if they used dogs on Rose Marie Bly, but I think they did. But that's just my own impression. I don't have anything that backs that up. Boy, I did that weird up. Happened again. Cocoa Beach Village says, Candace and Don have been together 14 years or so. They were together when Rose disappeared. 100% because they had a child by then. Oh, good Lord. Sheila, I'm not going to read that because that's kind of, but wow. Yeah, I feel you. So, let's walk this through, thinking about CPS coming that day, and this is the end of it. We're at the end. We've got CPS coming to question this child, to question the boys, and we have school starting, where Summer is going to be alone without adult supervision. We all know that little Summer has been starved for attention because we watch it in church when she's clinging for life onto Robin. And why? Why would, and I don't buy that whole Summer was attracted to beautiful women and blah, 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 blah. Summer was attracted to love. Summer was attracted to caring people. Summer was attracted to getting some attention from someone. But we start that whole day off completely different knowing CPS is coming. Because there's no way in hell they're going to just risk those boys being home alone to talk to CPS. I just cannot accept that. So where are the boys? Is Youth H right? Are the boys with Dawn? And is it done purposely that Summer is removed from the home so that when CPS gets there, no one's home? Zelma Lopez, good to see you, lovely. In New Mexico, Child Protective Services can recommend a child be removed, but only law enforcement can actually take them away from the parent. That may be true in the United States, too. Hakuna says, kids are so pure, they measure beauty solely based on what's the inside and the way beauty should be measured. I agree. Sheila says, Don raced home to get the boys. He beat the cops there. Yeah, because you were already there, I think. You guys, what if Don's car was there, right? And so the boss saw his car there, the red car. But what if Candace actually just drove the truck over and picked him up? And the boys. He could have been home. Because he says we. He always says we. We turned here. You did? I thought you were looking for Summer. You didn't even go home. Who's we? Is it the boys? Is that why, Don, you said, I saw my boys over, all three of them together, right there when he's looking at that cotton blind? And then he looks that way. He's like, first thing I saw was my boys over there all together. Don, did you have the boys in the car with you? Is that why you say we? Is it possible the swimming incident happened the day before? Because according to David, Church David says that Candace showed the police and him the video of Summer swimming that day, June 15th, with her brothers. How's that work? Is that possible? 259 in chat. I mean, I'm just saying. It was planned in my book. After learning that CPS is coming in, I've got so much to go on. Hakuna Matata 89 says, do you think H knows more than he's saying? Or was he an innocent bystander who was possibly used in what could have been a premeditated scheme? H said Candace called him first, and she said the opposite. Well, I've kind of gone over what I think. So what do you guys think on that? Excuse me. What's your opinion? Nan's Life says there was also a paternity battle with Rose and her spouse. Filed divorce and custody quickly after she disappeared. That is true. Yep. Good Lord. So CPS has been called in the Rosemary Bly's case, where Rosemary is seeing the children, which obviously they were getting abused because we know that those children did get removed from Candace. One child had been beaten severely with allegedly a baseball bat, ended up basically having to have adult care later in life. I mean, all through their life. So that holds water right there. So now CPS is getting called again on Candace. And now the child disappears. Lisa Wilson says they sold her. The only thing I have to say about that is, all right, the whole idea that they would sell her, there is a chance then she would resurface. We've had that happen where a child has been in a situation where they survive. That would risk too much, in my opinion. Just my opinion. And it's weird because think of the language that the family used. Candace as well as Dawn. Not just one of them. but both of them, right away. We loved Summer to death. Summer smothered Robin with love. You picking up on what I'm dropping down here? Tanya says, although I don't think they're sophisticated criminals at all, Candace sure lies easily, just like when they made up that whole Dawn got kidnapped thing, and just to try and find someone leaking info. Well, you know, somebody that would be able to commit one murder or even two would truly be a sociopath, a psychopath. And that's what they do. They lie, and they lie, and they lie, and they lie. Hakuna says, I was thinking he owed a debt, so he's letting that person hold her as collateral until the reward gets high enough to pay the debt. Then they'll figure out a way to get that person the reward and frame someone else for her going missing. That very well could be, because we don't know. Chris Madonna did address the fact that if literally Don was involved with the drug cartel, Don doesn't seem to know the slang terminology that is affiliated with the drug cartel. So it sounds like he's uneducated. And the fact to me, when he was like talking about how he believes that Summer's far, far away, and his worst fear is that she's locked up in some dungeon where she can't run and play. It's almost like I go for the opposite. I'm like, so she's real close to home then. And so that you've got her somewhere locked up. And why would they have that big red tote in the back there? I mean, I know I'm jumping all over, but literally boggles my mind. But still, we have her jumping in front of that red barrel that says for sale. So I can't dismiss that either. You could be 1,000% right that she was sold. And like you saw, like you're saying, frame someone else for her going missing. Did you hear the latest? Voices on the Wall have come out and said that Don approached Cher, and tried to get her to help him figure out a way, or at least he was suggesting, to do a Netflix pay-per-view where he would do a false confession. And then after the people paid for the false confession, he would confess his love for the church. Well, aren't you just a Christian, Don? I'm sure the church would be real damn happy to hear that you're making $1 million off of your daughter's missing. Good God have mercy. That's about as sacrilegious as a person could possibly get in my book. Yeah, Nan's Life, the family called the basement the dungeon. Boys slept upstairs. Summer slept downstairs with Mom and Dad. Cocoa Beach says, agreed, Hakana. Bear was abandoned in Vegas at a vet's office, and after not being able to find someone to take him after 2 weeks, he was literally on his way to the pound. I took him in. Best dog ever. Who is Bear? Bear who? A puppy? I just lost my dog, Maya, our little snorer. She got hit by a car, and it's made me just sick. I'm getting better at sleeping at night. I say that, but I can't go to bed very early because then I think about it too much. I had her by me. You know how you have that, they always say a strong woman is never alone. She always has a little dog following her all the way to the bathroom. That was my Maya. Like, she knew when I hit the bathroom door, she had to stay out. But she would follow me everywhere in this house, right to the bathroom door. And so for her to be gone, there's an energy missing in this house, I can tell you. I swear it was like I didn't even realize how much of my attention was spent with Maya until I couldn't give her any. And Gretchen feels it too. It's very lonely. Hokana says, this whole case is mind-boggling. We all want answers and want to see Summer found safe, but all her parents seem to want is airtime and unnecessary bullshit. Okay, you guys, I want to tell you something. So, thank you so much, Hokana Matata, because this came to mind. Like, you guys inspire me you get my thinker going, right? So, I was working on the Madeleine McCann. I think it's Madeleine. But anyway, I was working on that case. I watched the parents, the mother holding that pink little teddy bear thing, and they made a plea for their daughter. Good God. 11:33 on our watch time. It was the most heart-wrenching thing I have ever watched. There was no doubt in my mind those parents were pleading from their heart. Please. And they talked to Madeleine. If you have our Madeleine, please, please, please bring her home. She's very special to us. You could feel the emotion, the heartbreak, the horrific feelings of not knowing what was going on to their daughter. Now, let's flip the coin. Don was given that chance, and he turned it back around and pointed at himself and talked about himself. Because a narcissist will not waste their time on something that they cannot benefit from. Did you follow me? It was a waste of time in his mind, if he's a narcissist, to plead for Summer if she's dead. Cairo says, yeah, why do the parents not seem to care at all that she's missing? I don't know. Cocoa Beach Village says, I don't believe the cartel theory either. I just don't. I just don't. Fair Witness says, dang, Summer's dad, Don, is a registered sex offender. Are you sure? He's actually registered sex offender? In what state? Hakuna Matata says, right, he's all about himself, and he doesn't mention that sweet baby's name unless someone else mentions her first. That's right. And remember, he said, this was straight out of Don's mouth. I heard it with my own ears. He said, are you ready for this? Everybody's always, poor Summer, poor Summer. Well, Summer loves her effing daddy. Only he said the F word. Don's son is a registered sex offender and they have the same name. Are you shitting me? Right. Nan's life, you nailed it. Unfortunately, she says, unfortunately, the Wells shoots themselves in the foot with being caught in the unnecessary lies. Truth. If Don was a registered sex offender, if the dad, Don, was, I want to see paperwork because I think you're talking about the son is. But that's even bizarre. Arkansas, 2007. All right, I'm going to Google. How do I do that? I don't think I'll be able to find out, because it's not like Wisconsin where we have a CCAP. In the state of Wisconsin, we can put in somebody's name, their birthday, and poof, their record, their public record is at full access to us unless it's sealed. So if the records have been sealed by court, such as Carmen Botwell's were for a while, yeah. With me on a live, my computer's running too slow. Well, we'll find that out. But this whole CPS thing has blown my mind. Nan's Life says, oh my God, have you seen the map showing registered sex offenders in the area? No, that's horrific. I don't know if I can handle it, because that really scares me. Tanya says, she's answering Akuna Matata 89. I think that would still be nothing for the cartel, but perhaps they would send a message. And cartels send messages by hanging people from bridges, so don't buy that angle. Akaira says, I doubt cartel too. All right, so let's do a vote. If you think, yes, I believe, if you believe that the drug cartel is involved in Summer's disappearance, put a 1. And if you do not believe that the drug cartel is involved in Summer's disappearance, put a 2. Or you can put 3, I'm not sure. That way you don't have to know, because we don't know. It's just our own intuition. 11:55. Wrong tube. Tea went wrong way. Oh my golly. Nan's Life says, sorry guys. Tanya has 2s across the board. Nan's Life says the number of red dots showing the registered location is mind-boggling. Hakuna Matata has a 2. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't see it being a drug cartel thing. Oh, sorry guys. I'm going to block the mic a minute so I can cough, because I have like aspirated on my tea. That hurts. Damn. Like Cairo has a 2. But Akuna Matata also says, I don't put it past him to trade her for drugs. Hey, Lisa Wilson. Good to see you. Lisa Wilson says CPS have the boys move upstairs after the first inspection of the home. Yes, I do know that that was reported as well. So they were all sleeping in the basement? That's my question. So the boys and Summer. Uh-huh. How old is the oldest child, the oldest boy? Does anybody know? Is he 9 or is he 11? Was he 11? Sweet tea. I got Gold Peak. Apparently I'm not drinking it. I'm drowning in it. It went down the wrong tube and like to killed me. Ugh. So CPS is coming to the house. Candace is reporting one time that all the boys are home alone. Then another time she's reporting nobody was home. She takes Summer and she's poof, gone for the day. And Youth H reported that there was some water park that they were going to go to, and that Candace had already purchased an outfit for the water park, right? Why would you purchase a jogging suit in Tennessee, 12:12 on the watch time, 11:11 on the clock, 9/10/2021? Why would you purchase a jogging suit pants, and a long sleeve jacket for Tennessee in the middle of June to go to a water park. Why would you put said outfit on your child in 83 to 85 degree weather in a truck with the windows up? We see it in the picture. Windows are up. No air conditioning. No way in hell this is working for me. Cocoa Beach Village says, oh, sorry to hear that. Yes, Bear is my Roddy that I took in 6 years ago. I always say to him how lucky I am that he found me. Aww. Yeah. He's so lucky to have a good owner. I agree, Cairo. Gold Peak's the best tea for me. The other teas are too, I don't know. They're just not as natural as that Southern sweet tea. All right, guys. We're at 279. I think we've put in a good night's work on this. Now we know we have CPS. Let's sum this up. Let's do a summary before we go for the night, okay? We're at 12:22 on the watch time for an average time. All right. So at this point, we now can honestly say we have a stake in the ground. Because when Aunt Rose Marie Bly went missing in 2009, CPS had been called on Candace Bly's relationship with her first set of children, which were severely abused and removed from her home, and she basically signed off on them without a fight. Just, phew, kids are gone. And Rosemary Bly went missing. And Rosemary Bly is supposedly, allegedly, the one that called CPS. And poof, gone. Now we got CPS coming into the home, and Summer disappears on the day that they're coming. Why is this not all over YouTube? I have been watching. It's like people are getting distracted and interviewing Dawn and what Dawn's saying. And I do too. But when we start really working the case in a group like this, where we're truly working the timeline and so forth, and we start seeing connective dots like that, it's like hitting it out of the ballpark for a chance. You're more than likely going to win the lottery before 2 family members go missing that distance apart, and they both have to do with CPS. And, oh my golly, did Candace lose those first set of kids? Damn right she did. So does she take CPS real serious? Damn right she does. And on the day CPS is coming, Candace made damn sure she wasn't going to be home, huh? Anything to not be home that day. So, that is a huge find in this case. I agree. Our channel does knock cases out of the block. I kid you not. We rip them apart. We have some of the most diligent workers in this case. Like, people get the case and they work these cases and then they bring it to the table. You know, the Avery truthers are kind of like old school in a little bit of a way. We have been through so much in the Avery case, and the lies that have been told, and the corruption, and the the way you have to really think outside the box, and you have to look at other timelines, and you have to see where dots connect that you may not have even thought would connect. And so for it to have come out like this, I'm not surprised, to be honest. Are you surprised, Nan's life? Oh God, I wish I was updating you guys that. Hakana says, have a great night. Thank you for a great discussion. Wish the topic was an update that she was found safe. Hashtag bring summer home. Beth Turner says, I looked up Donwell's son's address and I know approximately where he lives. I grew up in that area. Nan's Life says, nothing surprises me anymore. Isn't that the truth? Well, lovelies, you may be right, Just Me. Just Me says, I think there is a pedo ring there. Could be. They're all over. I found out in this little town I work in, there's a little bit, like a 50,000 population city near where I work. And apparently some 17-year-old was luring people in, luring young children, teenager girls, real young, to sex traffic them. And then when they were on the highway, apparently they came to my little tiny town where I work, at the gas station I always go to, and the sex traffickers stopped there to do something, and one of these drugged children woke up and escaped. No names because of minors are being released, but damn, it's getting close to home. If you got kids, you guys, keep your eyes on them, know where they are at all times. I mean, really, honestly, it's so horrifying. Thank you so much, Nan's Life, for being our wrench. As always, you are so helpful to the case and so supportive to anything that we do. I just appreciate a lot. And I appreciate all of you so very much and all the information you brought. You schooled me tonight. That's for damn sure. I am just in awe of what came out tonight in this chat. I think this was one of the most productive chats that has happened in the Summer Wells case, to be honest. Hats off to all of you. You're incredible. And I feel very honored. Truth Train coming through. And I'll be danged. We got 1, 2, 3, 1 average watch time. Awesome. All right, you guys. Your girl's going to get some sleep. I love you so much. And I'll see you again real soon. Love ya. To the Summer Moon Wells, Utah, and back. I said that all wrong. Summer Moon, Utah Wells, and back. May she please be found. Thank you. Oh, will I be live tomorrow? Most likely I'll jump on here. We'll probably, you guys let me know if you want me to, and anybody can email me and let me know if there's anything we want to talk about specifically. If there is something, you just never know. I might jump on. If I do, it's probably going to be about 9 o'clock again. So with that, you guys get some good sleep, and thank you all so very much. From Just Me to iCairo, Fair Witness, Beth Turner, Kine, Tanya, Cocoa Beach, Nan, all of you. And if I didn't say your name, I'm so sorry. Hey, Lisa, good to see you. All right, night, guys. I love ya. To the moon and back.